Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ambassador Greer, for testifying before us today. And again, you are right. For far too long, the United States has been taken advantage of by unfair trade practices around the world. These persistent trade imbalances have driven manufacturing overseas, weakened critical supply chains, and left our defense industrial base even more dependent on foreign suppliers. To restore both free and fair trade, President Trump has utilized tariffs on more than 60 countries, putting America first and ensuring U.S. manufacturing is no longer shortchanged by foreign competitors. Already, President Trump has delivered major results, securing billion-dollar trade deals with our allies and partners, bringing thousands of jobs back to our shores, and driving billions in new manufacturing investment. Despite the Supreme Court's decision earlier this year, President Trump remains committed to reshoring American manufacturing. So my question is, President Trump has already announced historic private sector investments in American manufacturing here at home. In your view, have the administration tariff policies been successful, and have you seen significant evidence of companies reshoring investment back to the United States?
Yes, thank you. And I mentioned this earlier. Just last week, I was in Michigan and Ohio, and I went to a variety of factories from very small businesses to large multinationals. One of these is Stellantis, which is the company that owns Jeep and Dodge. And due to the president's tariffs on autos that he imposed last year, they announced a $13 billion investment in the United States across the upper Midwest. And some of that included bringing back product lines from both Canada and Mexico to the United States. So that's one example. We also announced there was an announcement of a $60 million investment in the Whirlpool factory in Clyde, Ohio, which is the world's largest and oldest washing machine factory. And that has another 150 jobs. So these are just examples. The pharmaceutical companies, they're pouring foundations and building superstructures in North Carolina and Indiana and Southern California across the country. So and when we ask them why, they say tariffs. They don't always love to put it in their filings with the SEC, but that's why.
Well, thank you, and I've been to Clyde, Ohio, too, so great place.
Were you named after it?
No, it wasn't named after me. In your fiscal year 2027 budget request, there's an increase of $7 million, or an 8% above the fiscal year 2026 enacted level for the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative. Now, I'm a small businessman, and I believe in return on investment, so that needs to be positive and not negative, or otherwise, why are we investing? So can you explain specifically how this additional funding will translate into tangible outcomes to positive ROI? Particularly in terms of securing greater investment and expanding economic opportunities here in the United States?
Certainly. So every time we consider making a trade deal, which again, the way we get the trade deals are by having tariffs. We have to have the leverage to get the deals, otherwise these countries will continue to treat us as they have for decades. And so when we have some level of tariff, you bring some money into the Treasury, and that's real revenue that can be used for programs. Second, when we get the trade deals, every time we do these deals, we do an assessment of what we think the market opportunity is. And so from Indonesia to India to the UK to Argentina, it's hundreds of billions of dollars in opportunities. And as I've mentioned earlier, we've seen that actually start to happen with record-breaking exports in the last couple of months.
Okay, so but with the increase of $7 million, all right, I mean, are you going to, what is that actually doing for us in just the, how do you monitor these trade agreements to ensure that the folks are holding to what they agreed to? Or is that what this is necessary for? Or?
That's certainly part of it, because we have to monitor it. One of the problems we've had over the past decades, my agency typically only has 200 to 250 people at any given time, and we believe that with this money we can have another 20 to 25 people. Because we have more trade agreements now after a year and more commitments, I need more people to monitor it. I need more people to enforce it. There's also There's $1 million I'm asking for, which is actually to consolidate our footprint from buildings to get rid of another lease. So I'm trying to save money for you in the long term if I consolidate this year. So I'm trying to be as respectful as I can with the taxpayers' money and bring opportunities for American workers and farmers.
All right. One last question before my time runs out. And you addressed this with the chairman a little bit. Given our reliance on adversarial nations like Communist China for critical materials and technology, how is your office contributing to trade strategies that reduce these dependencies, especially the critical materials?
So we are right now preparing text, which we'll share with Congress before we circulate it to partners, for a plurilateral agreement on trade in critical minerals. We want to create a situation because China has broken the market for critical minerals, and this is not the first time they've tried to use rare earths to control other countries' behavior.
Leverage.
Exactly right. And so what we are doing with trading partners who have critical minerals or who have manufacturing is we want to create an agreement where among the parties to the agreement, we have a market in critical minerals among us, and we try to trade at market-based prices. But if you're not in the agreement and you want to trade with one of these parties, you have to do it at a certain level. You have to have a price floor, because in the past, the Chinese have just dumped into our market, and then we have a mine that can't operate anymore because it doesn't make economic sense. And so we're trying to do an agreement with a select group to protect and create a market because it's been broken in the past.
Thank you, Ambassador Greer. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I yield back, Mr. Chairman.